You throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it.
Stark.
You know me?
I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge.
My only curse is you.
All that for a drop of blood. You have my respect, Stark. When I'm done, half of humanity will still be alive. I hope they remember you.
Stop! Spare his life, and I will give you the stone.
No tricks.
Duh.
One to go.
Where is he? Did we just lose? Why would you do that? We're in the end game now.
Inevitable.
Iron Man.
Welcome to the Mr. Pictures channel. Thanos continues his philosophical journey of madness and sanity in order to achieve his goals. But after all, what end will this bring to the universe where different gods want to prevail above the Supreme? 1. The Supreme God. The rise of Thanos, after being resurrected by death to balance the universe once again. Thanos realized that his former purpose, to eliminate half of life, was no longer enough to restore order. He now sought to become a supreme god, capable of controlling all the forces of the cosmos. But something darker and more powerful loomed on the horizon. Amidst the vacuum of space, as he pondered his new mission, an overwhelming presence made itself felt. A deep, cold voice echoed across the cosmos, and Thanos narrowed his eyes as he recognized the owner of that presence, Dr. Doomstark. I see you still seek power, Titan, but your vision is myopic. True power is beyond mortal understanding. You, again, Thanos growled, clenching his fists. Still looking for your illusory throne, Stark. Doomstark stepped forward, his armor mixing magic and technology, with his mask reflecting a macabre glow. The universe is about to witness something it has never seen before. I have brought someone back, someone that even the gods fear. The Beyonder. Thanos' eyes widened. I knew the legend of the Beyonder, an omnipotent being capable of reshaping reality with a thought. Doomstark opened a portal beside him, and a figure shrouded in a shimmering aura emerged, imposing and indifferent. He will be my ultimate weapon. With the power of the Beyonder at my side, not even the living tribunal will be able to stop me. But Thanos was not intimidated. Instead, a cruel smile crossed his face. If you really want to become a god, Stark, you should know that gods don't ally. They dominate. The hunt for the Beyonder after Doom. Stark disappeared, taking the Beyonder with him. Thanos found himself alone, contemplating his new mission. If he wanted to become a supreme god, he would need to destroy that being before Stark controlled him completely. Wasting no time, he began a journey across the galaxies, tracking the Beyonder's energy signature. Thanos knew that Doom could not tame such an entity forever. While traversing the domains of destroyed planets and abandoned galaxies, he encountered an old acquaintance, the Silver Surfer. Thanos, the Surfer muttered, with a dark expression. What are you looking for now? The destruction of more innocent lives. I seek to eliminate a threat that even you cannot conceive. The Surfer narrowed his eyes, hesitant. You speak of Doomstark and the Beyonder. I felt the imbalance in the cosmos. If this is true, perhaps for the first time we will have a common purpose. Spare me your morals, Surfer. If you want to keep your master alive, stay out of my way. Galactus, who was observing the conversation, interrupted, his voice thundering. The Beyonder cannot stay alive on this plane. If Doomstark intends to control him, the universe will be doomed. Thanos nodded, and to the Surfer's surprise, Galactus granted the Titan a fragment of his own cosmic energy. You may need this to face an entity of such magnitude. Are you still afraid, World Eater? Thanos provoked, absorbing the granted power. I just understand the concept of prudence, unlike you. The cosmic crossroads, following the trail of the dimensional distortion, Thanos found Doomstark in a distorted dimension where realities intertwined and space itself contorted. Did you come to witness my ascension? Doomstark asked, watching as the Beyonder manipulated the structure of the multiverse. Your rise will be marked by fall. You do not understand the power you are trying to manipulate. Doom laughed confidently. I've controlled the power of the gods before. Titan, I don't need your approval. The Beyonder, impassive, didn't even seem to notice their presence, focused on reconstructing fragments of reality that Doom was trying to distort. He doesn't obey you, does he? Thanos sneered. You think you are a master, but you are nothing more than a pawn of your own arrogance. Furious, Doom fired a devastating beam of magical energy at Thanos, who absorbed the impact with Galactus's cosmic energy. The Titan counterattacked with a destructive blast that cracked the floor of the illusory dimension. Doom was thrown back, but before he could regain his composure, the Beyonder turned his blank gaze to the both of them. "You are nothing more than disturbances in the cosmic symmetry. I will correct this flaw." Thanos charged forward, delivering a powerful punch that crossed the void and hit the Beyonder. To his surprise, the Supreme Being didn't even move, just looked at him with mild interest. "Raw power, but your mind is still trapped in mortality." Doom, desperate, tried to control the Beyonder with runes and mystical seals, but his magic crumbled like ash in the wind. "Impossible!" Doom exclaimed. "I am a god!" Thanos laughed, his maniacal grin growing. "Gods do not need to assert their divinity, Stark. I will show true power." Summoning all the cosmic energy he absorbed from Galactus, Thanos focused a single attack. A punch so powerful, it made the surrounding reality shake. The Beyonder finally reacted, blocking with the palm of his hand and creating a shockwave that caused Doomstark to be thrown out of the dimension. "Or you are interesting, Mad Titan. But power and ambition without purpose are only ruin." "And what is your purpose, Beyonder?" "Observe. Correct. Preserve the balance between everything and nothing." Thanos smiled. "Then you are already an obstacle in my path." The final confrontation was about to take place. As Doomstark gathered his strength to return, Thanos and the Beyonder continued to face each other. Two absolute powers about to clash with cataclysmic force. Cosmic supremacy. Thanos' last stand, the Steini, void of the distorted dimension, shook as Thanos' fist met the invisible barrier created by the Beyonder. The cosmic energy released created waves of destruction that echoed throughout space. However, the Beyonder remained motionless, staring at the Mad Titan with an indifferent expression. "Your power is insignificant in the face of absolute truth." "Or," said the Beyonder, his voice sounding like serene thunder. Thanos, imposing and determined, launched a devastating sequence of attacks, using the cosmic energy he received from Galactus to create explosions and force fields that attempted to pierce the Beyonder's resistance. But nothing seemed to have any effect. The Beyonder extended his hand, and from his fingers came beams of energy that reshaped the very fabric of reality around Thanos. The Titan felt his body being pulled in several directions, as if he were being fragmented by countless simultaneous forces. "You are not worthy of even approaching true power." In a desperate movement, Thanos summoned all the energy he had left, compressing it into a dense sphere that he launched directly at the Beyonder. The ensuing explosion ripped apart reality, causing the dimension itself to begin to collapse. But when the cosmic dust cleared, the Beyonder remained intact, not even a scratch marking his omnipotent presence. "You are powerful, but you are not at the height of a transcendent being." Thanos gasped, his pride hurt, but his determination unshaken. He realized that even with the power granted by Galactus, he had no chance against an entity that shaped reality with a thought. It was then that the idea came up. An insane idea, but his only hope, turning to the power of the Lord of Chaos. The journey through cosmic lines. After the fruitless fight, Thanos decided to retreat, devising a desperate plan. Using the fissures created in the dimension, he manipulated the cosmic threads, crossing the fabric of the multiverse in search of the Lord of Chaos. He knew that dealing with an entity as chaotic as the Beyonder himself would require an extreme sacrifice, or perhaps his very existence. As he traveled between realities, the cosmic forces around him tried to twist his mind, but Thanos' determination prevailed. After crossing a portal that seemed like an eternal abyss, he finally reached the realm of entropy, where the Lord of Chaos resided. There, among the cosmic shadows and lightning bolts of pure destructive energy, a figure formed, a shifting entity composed of darkness and shooting stars. Who dares to disturb the primordial balance? The voice echoed, deep and chaotic, making the space itself vibrate. I am Thanos. I seek power to destroy the Beyonder. A cruel laugh echoed through the void. Do you think that supreme power can be granted so easily? Why should I help you, mortal? Thanos looked up, impassive. Because the balance is threatened. If the Beyonder reshapes reality at will, there will be no chaos or order. Everything will be a single, static entity, with no purpose. The Lord of Chaos paused for a moment, pondering the Mad Titan's words. You speak with conviction. Perhaps there is a spark of truth in your words, but the power you seek demands a high price. I'm willing to sacrifice everything. The Lord of Chaos extended his hand, and a beam of black energy enveloped Thanos, penetrating his soul and reshaping his essence. The Titan screamed, but not in pain. It was a sensation of transcendence, as if his very nature was merging with primordial chaos. You now possess the power of ultimate chaos. But remember, Thanos, it will corrode your mind and soul. The balance of your existence will always be on the edge of the abyss. Thanos felt his body pulsate with a power he had never imagined. His gaze flickered with shades of purple and red, and his very presence seemed to warp the space around him. So be it. I accept the price. The return to confrontation. Back in the distorted dimension, the Beyonder waited, impassive. When Thanos emerged, now overflowing with chaotic energy, the Transcendent being raised an eyebrow, intrigued. You survived. Fascinating. Not only did I survive, Thanos spoke, his voice now echoing with distorted and evil tones. I have transcended. Without hesitation, the Titan launched a reality-warping attack, shattering the fabric of space-time around the Beyonder. The Supreme Being retreated for the first time, surprised to feel his own essence being affected. Impossible! How can you possess such power? Thanos advanced, manipulating reality around him, creating fields of annihilation that ripped apart the cosmic fabric. Beyonder attempted to restore order, but chaos swallowed his influence. You don't understand. Beyonder! Thanos growled, clenching his fists. Chaos is the only force that not even omnipotence can control. The Beyonder attempted to counterattack, but his energy was absorbed by the chaotic sphere around Thanos. With one final move, the Titan channeled the full strength of the Lord of Chaos into a blow that made the universe itself tremble. An explosion of cosmic proportions destroyed the entire dimension, and when the particles settled, only Thanos remained, standing, breathing heavily, victorious. But his triumph did not come without a price. His mind was now a storm of conflicting and destructive thoughts, struggling to maintain his own identity in the face of the corruption of chaos. He knew his mission was not yet complete. Doomstark continued his rise, and the universe remained on the brink of collapse. But now, as the true god of chaos, Thanos was willing to strike down anyone who dared challenge his supremacy. And with that, the universe felt the presence of a new monarch, a god who recognized no order, balance, or limits, just absolute power and devastation. Continues. And that's our story today. Comment here, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. Welcome to the Mr. Pictures channel. Today, I'm going to bring a story entering the MCU, where many interesting points will be brought up, about an alternative version of Tony Stark with gold armor to fight an intergalactic threat. Let's get straight to the point. Tony Stark's last legacy, awakening at the end of the universe. Tony Stark opened his eyes and blinked several times. The last thing he remembered was the snap of his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet. He had defeated Thanos. He had saved the universe. But then, he died. Or at least should have died. He stood up slowly, feeling the weight of his own body. But something was different. There was no pain, no burns, no damage caused by using the gauntlet. Where the hell was he? Looking around, he realized that the scenario didn't make sense. The sky above was an infinite void, filled with stars that seemed to pulse in unknown patterns. The ground beneath his feet was not earth, but a metallic surface, shiny and cold. Welcome to the end, Tony Stark. He turned sharply. Before him, a tall man dressed in a white robe was watching him with an enigmatic gaze. His skin seemed to be made of light, and his eyes glowed as if they contained entire galaxies. "Who are you?" Tony asked, feeling his mind already starting to work on 1,000 hypotheses. The being smiled slightly. "I'm the Watcher." Tony crossed his arms. "Okay. Is this some kind of post-mortem delusion? Because if it is, I have to say I was expecting something less depressing." The Watchman remained expressionless. "You're not dead, Tony Stark, but you're not alive either. You were pulled to this point in time and space for a greater reason." Tony frowned. "And what would be that reason?" The Watcher took a deep breath before speaking. "You saved one universe, but in doing so, you doomed another." Tony was silent for a moment. "You'll need to be more specific." The Watcher extended his hand, and a holographic projection appeared. Tony saw distorted images of a reality he didn't recognize. Cities were on fire. Fallen heroes lay in ruins. At the center of it all, man in gold and black armor, raising a handful of cosmic energy. Tony's blood ran cold. He knew that armor design. It was his. "This can't be real." The Watcher looked directly at him. "This is a version of you, Tony Stark. A version that realized that to save the universe, it was not enough to destroy villains. It was necessary to rule everything, to be the only absolute truth." Tony swallowed. "And you want me to fix it?" The Watcher nodded. "You are the only person who can stand up to him. You must stop his own rise to power." Tony ran a hand over his face and laughed humorlessly. "Great. Now I'm hunting the evil version of myself. This sounds like a typical day in my life." The Watcher watched him for a moment before speaking. "This will be your toughest battle, Tony Stark. Because to beat him, you'll need to be more than Iron Man." Tony looked at the projection of his corrupted version and took a deep breath. He had faced gods, titans, and aliens, but he had never faced himself. And that was a problem. Returned to the battlefield, Tony felt an energy envelope his body. Before he could react, he was pulled into the dimensional vortex created by the Watcher. In the blink of an eye, he found himself in a devastated world. The air was heavy. The smell of destruction and blood permeated the environment. And then he saw it. On the horizon, an immense golden palace rose in the center of what was left of New York. Technological towers floated, drones patrolled the sky, and giant suits of armor marched like armies. And at the top of that empire, he was there. Tony Stark, or rather, Doomstark. The alternate version of himself, who had abandoned all morality and become the supreme ruler of the multiverse. Tony clenched his fists. He needed to find allies. He needed to stop this. Because if I couldn't, humanity would no longer have hope. The golden path. The golden armor gleamed under the cold light of the universe. Tony Stark traversed the far reaches of space, his thrusters propelling him to a destination few would dare visit, the domain of the Celestials. He needed answers. How to defeat the version of himself that had become Doom? The stars became blurs as he accelerated, guided by ancient coordinates that were stored in his armor. Finally, after what seemed like hours, he arrived at the scene. The eternal abyss. A formless void where only those who had transcended mortality could enter. Tony took a deep breath. "Okay, Celestials, I hope you're home." He landed in the center of the void, and as soon as his feet touched the invisible surface, the universe around him distorted. Suddenly, he was in front of them, the Celestials. Their colossal bodies shone like living stars, each of them representing a force beyond human comprehension. Arishem the Judge was the first to speak. Iron Man, why did you come to us? Tony wasted no time. Then, I need to know how to defeat Doomstark. He is collapsing the lines of the multiverse and intends to rule everything. I need a way to stop him. The Celestials remained silent for a moment. Then, one of them, Exitar, the Executioner, replied, "You'll never make it alone." Tony frowned. "That's not a helpful answer, friend. I need something more specific." Arishem tilted his head slightly. Doomstark has become an entity beyond human understanding. He has absorbed powers that have made him an absolute being. If you want to defeat him, you will need strengths beyond your own. Tony gritted his teeth. So what do I do? Sit and watch as he rewrites reality his way? It was then that Exitar said something that made Tony shudder. If you want hope, you must turn to those who were once by your side. Tony was silent. Those who were by your side. He knew exactly what that meant. The Avengers. But they were all dead, right? Or could it be? He felt a spark of hope. If there was a chance, however small, that his former allies could help him, he needed to try. Wasting no time, Tony activated the thrusters and left the Celestials' domain. He had a new goal: bring back those who could prevent the multiverse apocalypse. And if that meant defying the laws of time and death, so be it. Tony Stark was ready to rewrite history. The return of the Avengers. The Golden Armor's engines roared as Tony tore through the vastness of space, his mind racing with the impossible idea the Celestials had suggested. Reach out to those who were once by your side. But how? The Avengers were dead, scattered, or simply unable to face a being like Doomstark. He needed something more. And then, an idea emerged. If Doomstark had learned to manipulate time and space to shape the multiverse to his will, so could Tony Stark. His calculations were bold, bordering on insanity. But he had no choice. He would defy death itself. The first target, the God of Thunder Tony, adjusted the coordinates. Destination: Asgard. Or at least what was left of it. With a sonic boom, he tore through Earth's atmosphere and into space, heading towards the wreckage of Asgard floating in the cosmos. The rubble of the ancient home of the gods still glowed with the golden energy of the destroyed Bifrost. But Tony wasn't there for the wreckage. He knew that if there was any chance of bringing Thor back, he would have to look to Valhalla. The idea seemed absurd. Valhalla was not a place accessible to mere mortals, but Tony was not just any mortal. With his enhanced golden armor, he activated an experimental technology, Dimensional Tier. Let's see if I can force my way into the House of the Gods without getting kicked out. A portal began to open. A furious, golden vortex expanded before him, revealing a realm that no human should ever see. Valhalla. He took a step forward and fell. When he opened his eyes, he was standing on a golden field, under an eternal sky of battles. Ancient warriors, legendary figures. And there, in the center, raising his hammer in a toast with the fallen, was he, Thor. Tony approached. The God of Thunder turned around, eyes blazing like raging storms. "Stark! How the hell did you get here?" Tony smiled. Long story, but in short, the universe is screwed, and we need your hammer once again. Thor stared at Tony for a moment, then he threw his mug of mead aside and picked up Mjolnir. Then let's crush Doom. And a new Avenger had returned. The second target, the soldier and the King Thor and Tony now had a clear goal. They needed to find other allies. Next destination, Wakanda. Vibranium technology could be the key to bolstering the resistance against Doomstark. They landed at the gates of Wakanda, only to find the kingdom shrouded in shadow and silence. Tony felt a chill. That doesn't feel right. Thor swung Mjolnir, ready to fight. It was then that a figure emerged from the darkness. Black Panther. But it wasn't the same T'Challa that Tony knew. This Black Panther looked older, darker, and carried the look of someone who had already seen the end of the world. Stark, you're back. Too late. Before Tony could ask, something moved behind T'Challa, a colossal shadow, a figure with a vibranium shield split in half. Tony's eyes widened. Steve! Captain America stepped forward, but something was wrong. His eyes were empty, his uniform torn, and when he spoke, his voice was just an echo of what it once was. Doom is already among us. Terror ran down Tony's spine. They weren't just late, Doom had already arrived first. Continues. Will Steve be corrupted by Doom? What will happen to Thor and Stark? Click the like button so you don't miss any videos. Until next time, bye.